Hello everybody and welcome to Riverside Crafts. Today I'm Ray and I thought I would share with you one of my favourite things to do at Christmas after spending money, that is, and that is wrapping up presents. I love to make the presents as personal for each person as I can, and I like to make the wrapping look as pretty as possible. Now, we're all told to recycle more now and to be a bit more conscious. I don't know if you know this, but most wrapping paper isn't recyclable. So I swapped over a couple of years ago to using brown paper to wrap Christmas presents and then decorating them with ribbons and all sorts of different bits and pieces. So I thought I'd show you where I start and what I end up with. So I'm just going to show you, this is one of the bags I decorate. And you'd have seen me do this if you were watching last week. You would have seen the card, which is what I use then as a tag on the bag. A little bit of natural raffia, a checked ribbon, really pretty, nice and easy. I use a paper clip to close the bags, but all of it is recyclable. They can take the ribbon off and bits and keep it, but all the cardstock is, and so is the brown bag. Okay, so that's one of the ways I like to do my Christmas wrapping, especially for things that are an awkward shape. Not very happy with awkward shapes. The other things I do is, like I showed you last week, I make my poinsettias and I put everything I can into a box. So whether it be a big box or a little box, I try and make up my boxes. And I keep all the wrapping from all the ribbons and all the bits from the years before. So every year I collect up all my ribbons and my bits and bobs and put them back into the box ready for next year. So this year I'm looking at doing these little snowflakes. We've got them in at the shop, and they are wooden snowflakes. I just think they're so pretty. And all I've done is put a little bit of gilding wax on top of this one, so that it looks a little bit more shiny. Depending on what sort of Christmas you're having, we've got all sorts of shapes and sizes in, and they're just very pretty and delicate. And I thought they'd make a different sort of decoration, keeping things still nice and natural, and feeling sort of thing quite well. So that's one of the other things I like to do. This is one of my other types of presents. I like these to make different tags. So I make tags that are slightly different for each person depending on who I'm wrapping for. So this one would be for my friend who's a penguin nut. Also, when I'm wrapping, I like to do a little bit of textural work, so it just looks slightly different. Okay, so just put that out of the way. And last but not least is when I am wrapping, I like to use these little things like this. They're called picks. We've got them at the shop. You can get them all over the place. But they just make a parcel look stunning. So it goes from just having a ribbon on it, and you can choose these to go with your colour scheme, and it just makes it look a really finished product. Okay, I also like to make my own little tags, make little shakers. Brilliant to go on the kids' cards, on the kids' presents, because it keeps them occupied as well. I'm just going to do this one, so I want to see as well that on top of this, if I can do it, I've got my bows everywhere today, is that I've stamped on this paper. So this paper, although when you buy brown paper it's not patterned, I've used one of my favourite sentiment stamps, and I've stamped all over it to give myself a patterned patterned paper stock. Okay, so go back to my boxes for a second and how I do some of my other bits and bobs. Put these out the way, and how I tie my ribbons up. If I'm just going to be wrapping a box with something in it, I always turn whatever it is upside down. I want any of my little bits of paper showing where I'm going to join it at the back. I will fold it along the edge so I get a really neat straight edge, because when I'm doing this, I'm not very good at cutting. So, and I use a double-sided tape because I am okay. And that then takes that in quite nicely. I'm sure you've all done the folding in at the ends and making sure that everywhere is all nicely clipped in and just looking nice and neat. So that sort of goes on my end. Again, double-sided tape. Love double-sided tape for Christmas. It's the only time I really use it, to be honest. Now, at the shop, we have got an absolutely amazing selection of ribbons. So when I went down there earlier in the week, I had a look and picked a few up to come home with, just so that I could share what we've got with you. So now my parcel looks wonderfully neat on the top and fairly tidy underneath. So I'm going to get myself a ribbon. Okay. And I quite like this one. It's nice and pretty and green. So don't think I need anything else much with this ribbon. I've got a lot of it, so I might not want all of it to go around my parcel. But what I try and think about is that I want to be able to wrap it round twice with what bit I have left over. So I'm going to the top, so I've got enough to do myself a bow. Because there's nothing worse than having done this bit, and then you get there and you haven't got enough to make a bow. Okay, and I'm just going to tuck that back under there so that doesn't go for a walk. Now I don't want to waste the ribbon. If I cut that off, then there I've got a silly bit that I'm not going to use. So rather than do it too much waste, what I'm going to do is use it to do I'm going to wrap it round it to do it a different, so when it comes through, we'll do it slightly differently, so I don't waste my ribbon. No, that's not the one I did it. I've done it the wrong way this morning. Okay, so that's going to sit like so across the top. This one's going to come through the middle. Turn it so it's the right way around because I want people to see it. Pass it back underneath. Push it through that bit I've just done in the centre. Pull it tight. Now I've got a double bow here and here, as you can see. So I've got my two bows and I've got one piece here, and all I'm going to do is tuck that piece in to give one side 3 bows. So that now tucks under. So I've got this nice big bow now on the top of my parcel, which I quite like. And now I'm going to decide what it is I'm going to put on it to make it look sort of a little bit more. Am I going to, with something like this, I would tend to use fir cones because it just really makes it, that finishes it off. Putting the fir cones on there just makes it look really pretty. And that. I put my tag on. Let me find a little tag that I've made. Here we go. Oops, dropped it on the floor this week. And I've got my tag. Now on my tags, I make the poinsettias we made last week. I use them to decorate my tags. I've put the white one on this one because there's white on the ribbon, so it just makes it look nice and neat. And again, I will just pass that through just to hold it in place. And then that would sit like that underneath my tree. All done. Okay, so that's that one. Now often I'm asked, how do you make the big bows, especially if you've got a big present and you want to make a great big bow? One of the best things to do is literally you're going to go round and round in circles. This also works for door wreaths, so if you want to make you can do 4 or 5 of these and put them round a ring, and it makes a really pretty door wreath, which makes life easy. So I've got, can you see, 1, 2, 3, then my third one is there. So I've got 2, it'll actually have 3 rings at the top and the 2 bits that come out at the bottom. I'm going to put it in like so. Now I don't use ribbon around the middle because I don't always have some, but what I do use is a little bit of wire. Now we have the wire at Riverside, so I use it because it gives me a nice tight point. Plus as well, at the end of the year, when I've don't want it like this next year, I can just steam the ribbon and use it again to do something different. So that's got, it's wired in the middle now, and all I'm going to do is pull out things from opposite sides. So if I'm pulling the base piece out that side, I'm going to pull the next one out from the other side, and I'm going to do the same again. So that's my 3 going on that side. I'm going to do the same on this one. Put this piece coming down here, so that's my nice bit going down, and again I'm going to go out at either sides with my bow. Works really well with wired ribbon, which is what this is, and then you've got a really nice big bow to have on the top of your parcel, which would be like so, if you wanted to, like that. Nice to put something else with it. We can put all sorts of decorations. I don't know how many of you have had like garlands around the house that fall down and break when you have them for Christmas. I keep all the bits, and then they go and get tucked in to make a finishing piece on my top of my bow. Now when I'm cutting my bows and getting these bits to look pretty, I go across diagonally. I don't do the classic V, mainly because if I want the ribbon for something else, I want to be able to have the maximum amount of it available to do something else with. I can, if that makes sense. So that's how I make my really big bows. Okay, so I just put that one there for a second. I'm just going to get my other ribbon. I've got so much ribbon in the house, it's ridiculous at the moment. So often it's when you're looking at if you have colour schemes for your Christmas, and people say, oh, but brown paper doesn't work with my colour scheme. Well, I have a silver colour scheme in one room, a red one and a blue one, and so far I haven't had it work where it doesn't go with any of them at all, because with blue ribbon it looks beautiful. It looks spectacularly done. These are, you get packs of berries that you put onto your wreaths, and I use them in the middle of what my parcels are because I just think they look pretty. I make these sort of tag pieces and they go in. They're really good for kids. They work really well for children because it gives them something else to look at and do. Again, I can just use one of my tags that I've made, or I can use a simple one. You know, the bauble die that we had out last week makes fabulous tags. Where's my big one? Here we go. This is the tag that I've done with the bauble die, and it's beautiful. So that's really pretty to use, and it comes in different sizes, so it's nice, and you've got the tie piece there ready, so that's quite a nice one to use. Okay, using raffia as well. I love raffia. It makes a hell of a mess, goes everywhere, but it looks so pretty when it's done. Right, so let's take some ribbon and some raffia. I've pulled some out. I'm going to put this back in my jar so I don't have too much out all at once. Right, now I'm going to do this with raffia, but I'm also going to use this ribbon. because normally you would think, oh, we'll do a traditional check with the raffia because it looks pretty, and that's what we but it's nice to use it with other colours as well. So I don't use raffia to wrap around my present unless it's small, because you don't get the length you need. Okay, can you see we don't have that much length in it in the same way? So it's a nice way. What I tend to do is use it at the end to make the bow. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this round my present. Here we go. Okay, get my raffia and put this in with it now. Okay, fold my bit in half that I want to be part of the bow. Take the other. I'm going to fiddle in with bow a minute and get it right. Got raffia going back to my pot. This is the only problem with it. It goes everywhere, as I'm sure you can see. Right, put that back in there for a minute, out of the way. Okay, sort out the ribbon so it looks pretty. And the raffia. Okay, one of the other things that's quite nice to do, which I like quite a lot, is I make up these poinsettias. They come from the flower dye that we have at Riverside. I do them in all sorts of colours. Off we go. Just for some ideas, so that you can see how they can be done in different creams and golds. What have I got? A blue one, silver one, rose gold one, and that. Right. One of the things that I do when I'm making these is I only buy one colour gem, and then I colour it whichever colour it is I want it to be when I'm putting it on my piece, my parcel. So I'm going to go as a gem, get it off, put it in the middle. For this one, actually, it doesn't need to change. Okay, now to hold it in position, I use a glue dot, which are, there we go, because they hold onto ribbon quite nicely, and I can peel it off afterwards if I don't want it there. Okay, so I put a glue dot on the back, place that in the middle. That's that bit done. There's my snowflake, my white one. Here we go. I'm going to put my snowflake on it as well because I think that'll look pretty. All nice and scrunched up. And that's how I would just, so you can change it for your colour schemes without any difficulty, just adding by changing the ribbon. All right, so I'll show you how I do my pleated top. First of all, while I'm thinking about it, when you're stamping onto your paper, use a water-based ink, because when it comes to sorting out later, it will come out a lot better. Yeah, they wash out when they start sorting out the paper to make it down into pulp. Some of the others apparently don't. Not that I know an awful lot, because I don't. It's easy to stamp on. Give yourself fancy whatever it is you like it to be. So to make it, to pleat it, I normally do it from a corner because I like it to look like it looks from a corner. And I'll take it, and what I'm going to do is just take it backwards and forwards. Pleat it a little bit here. Okay, so that's done that bit. So that those pleats stay where I want them, I will put a bit of sellotape on the back. So that they don't all fall out on me. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm going to use it to decorate the lid of this box then. So I'm looking at where I'm going to want it to be. Tape runner, where have I put it? Here it is. Okay, so I'm going to go up on one side to start with and up on the opposite. Trim off excess paper. Right, so to push it onto that edge there, take those back. That goes there. A little bit of glue. Use my favourite glue again, which is the Pin Flare book binding glue. Just going to put some along these edges here, so that when I start squeeging these in, it goes in and it holds in place. Right. So I'm going to start pushing these edges into where I want them to be. That's the top of my box decorated, and I've got my pleats just sitting there to give me a little bit of a lift. Okay, so I'm going to put some bits on it. I tend to decorate the smaller corner on when I'm doing this. I don't know why, but I do. This is cut from the die, the stamp by Francois Reed from Woodware. I just sit and trim them out. The best thing, the really good thing about doing flowers and things is that you can do them sat in front of the TV. So you've got all these little bits all prepared for the day when you actually do all of what you want to do, because you can take your time over it and not worry about it. Looking for a tag, should have one somewhere. And what I would tend to do then, looking at how my box is, where it has come, okay, and I would just put that like so on it, and that's that done. So it's a pretty little box already wrapped up, then ready for Christmas. You've got a pass, and doesn't need any more doing to it. It's prettily decorated. I collect my boxes throughout the year, so I have boxes of all sorts of sizes, all folded up upstairs, ready to go in to do this with. So I hope it's been interesting, a little different to normal. Next week I'm going to show you another wrapping idea, but it is with it's what I call my permanent Christmas cracker. So it comes back every year. Don't ever have to change it, and it just slides apart, and it's perfect to put a present in under the tree. You can make them as big or as small as you want, obviously. That one's done in brown paper, this one's done in fabric. Same principle, it all just pulls out. So you've got your two parts there to put your present in, and it goes back in. And you can make them to go with your decor as you like. So that's what I'm going to be showing to do next week. So I hope you join me, and you've had some interesting questions today. If I had a look when I finished, I'll answer all your questions. Okay, thank you very much for joining me. Hope the bow helped, showing how that works, and just generally using the brown paper and making it look a bit more than what it is. So take care. Thank you. Bye bye.